Coming up on 9 years as chief, Aaron, so I've been around a while. When I first took over as chief, there were two issues that were really glaring. One, we had an epidemic number of shootings in our city. The shootings were way too high, and our police community relations wasn't anywhere near where we wanted it to be. Now those actually can go in tandem, and we put a heavy emphasis on being real direct with our policing and try to focus on the problem at hand and leave everybody else alone. And then we made a real concerted effort to improve police community relations, garner partnerships, be present, continue and nurture those relationships. And over the course of 9 years, we went from having almost 250 shootings a year to 17, 18, and 19. I think we were almost under 100. We had our lowest shootings ever in that 3-year stretch. And because it was the lowest shootings, you also had the lowest number of homicides. Because what is a shooting? It's really just an attempted homicide. So we've seen a good level of success with solid police community relations. In addition to that, I would cite that the Omaha Police Department's clearance rate for homicides is one of the highest in the country for a major city, and the reason for that is police community relations. If you see a city that's got a very low homicide clearance rate, that's a city that's going to have a low level of police community relations.
Why do you say that?
Because it's the police and the community working together. When you're talking about shootings, there's very little forensic evidence associated with that. Okay, it's not going to be solved by CSI like you would see on TV. You need the community to step up and say, hey, this is what I saw, but also the community to step up during normal times when there wasn't a shooting and say, we're not going to tolerate that. We work with the police. We have a relationship. And so that's why I utilize that particular stat as a great indicator of police community relations.
And what is the clearance rate these days? I haven't looked in a while.
So over the last 8 years, we've been over 70%, which is kind of that great barometer of success. Many years we've been in the 80s, and I think we were in the 90s last year. And so we're proud of that statistic. And if you look at a lot of cities, they're looking at 40, 50, 60%. And in my opinion, if you can't solve the greatest threat, the greatest affront to society, which is a homicide, what confidence would anybody have as a community that you can solve anything else? Well, the first thing that always can be done, and I think you'll see this wave of CEOs or police chiefs across the country do this, if you have a high-profile incident, you have to be as transparent as possible. Now, there's always pressure on that transparency as it relates to collective bargaining agreements, as employment laws, what things you can release during the course of these investigations. But as a chief, you could still nuance that and get out what has occurred and what measures you have taken to address it. And I think that's very important. But also, when you have an incident occur, you have to make sure that you put layers in place that it doesn't happen again. And those have to be clearly communicated to the public. And I feel that we have done that within the city of Omaha and the Omaha Police Department. That was something that is definitely a priority of mine as chief. And we want to continue moving forward on that. And increasing that transparency is something that I am for as we move forward. Well, so I'm glad you asked that question. While I do have the authority, there's nothing in state law that says I can't release the video. But on the same caveat, our videos are not considered public documents. So that legal issue carries on a little further. It's considered an investigative report. And when you release an investigative report, you have to be cognizant of damaging the contents of that investigation, jeopardizing a jury pool. But the minute I release one prior to the findings of a grand jury, then I may be bound to release all of them legally. Now, I would jeopardize thousands of investigations if I do that. I am a believer that we need to codify this in state law as to when that video can be released. Let's be real clear about it. Because as a police chief, there's a lot of contingencies that I have to deal with. And I am somebody that has to work within the court system and the rules of evidence. And tainting a jury pool is something to be considered, and ensuring a fair trial on both sides. And that is something to consider as well. So those nuances and those consideration points are very, very salient to this conversation. So it's my opinion that if we can have a grand jury process that takes place fairly soon, I mean, let's initiate it right after the incident, and in 30 days, 60 days, if you have an opportunity to have that grand jury and that video can be released after, that would ultimately be the best. So we are working with the legal department, trying to work on some things on this before the next incident occurs to kind of iron out these issues, because it's not as simple as just releasing it like another state would do. They still have different rules, and even though there's nothing in state law that says I can't release it, the next step to that legal piece is, but it's considered investigative report, which I can't necessarily release.
And
So that is the compromise that we have attempted to make by releasing the still photos. It's showing that there is some evidence to support what I have just described as the videos. And Aaron, we've had a number of major instances occur. And I feel that I am legally in a little bit of a bind, in addition to the other considerations that I gave about releasing the videos right away. Remember, we're working on that because I want a clear path on that. With those issues at hand, we have to triage what is our prime consideration moving forward. If it is to truly fill in the gaps, is what we're doing not appropriate? Is it not filling in the gaps? Because releasing a video and showing a person's death is a very damaging thing that one could do to a community. So if the still photos is not a compromise that's acceptable anymore, we have to ask ourselves, are we willing to, do we have the power and the energy to enact a state law to address this? Is releasing that video immediately really going to be that much better than releasing it 30 days later? Those are some nuances we have to look at. I'm personally looking at it now with the legal department because it's my position as chief. If we can be as transparent as possible without damaging the integrity of the court system and the right to a fair trial, I think that's what we should do. Well, first of all, Aaron, you know, I have a lot of respect for our senators here in this state, and you have to remember we all have a role. I have a role of a police chief, they have a role of a senator. We all have a role in this game of trying to make progress in policing in our community. Look, I'm very open to transparency and oversight as much as possible. Oversight's something that really would make my job a lot easier, quite frankly. Subpoena power is something that you hear about, and I think that legal term really evokes some positive emotions, like, wow, something's going to be done. But Aaron, let me just say this. I have the ultimate subpoena power as it relates to an internal affairs investigation. When that officer shows up for an internal affairs investigation, they must answer my question. They must turn over any piece of evidence that I want, or they are terminated. So subpoena power, that I wouldn't focus so much on that because the chief of police will have ultimate subpoena power. So there is nothing that an officer can withhold from me that I would like to know during the course of an internal affairs investigation. So I think that's a great question. First of all, the best practices as it relates to police oversight will say you gotta let the chief run the organization and create the culture. They're the ones that are going to be able to do that. You got to be very careful on any type of oversight that would step into the bounds and intercede and interlope on the role of the police chief, because that will never work in any major organization, major company, and it won't work in policing. So what the best practices will say is you give the chief a lot of power to make these decisions, but have an oversight of what that chief is doing. And that oversight of that chief should be as public as possible. That should go towards police accountability and public trust is one reason it's considered a best practice on that front. And I also think there's some space, Aaron, we're talking to some state senators that maybe we can do some type of state oversight board. The Omaha Police Department, we have a citizens oversight board that we created. The mayor and I created it because we didn't have anything. Okay, this wasn't something that was forced upon us. We wanted something. So we're always looking to improve that, But I think one level of improvement could be some type of state oversight, and that's a space that I'm going to interject myself into on the next go around with the legislature, because we can't just always be concerned with the Omaha Police Department. Let's broaden the horizon. But let me mention two big goals again moving forward. First thing we need to do is we need to reset some things. We just came off a pandemic. We're still in it. I got to make sure that we exit that pandemic and start ramping up our operations to full speed. That's a prime consideration of mine, one that I didn't have on my radar a year and a half ago. But now that has to be a priority. And two is we had good police-community relations. But that can't exit my top priority list. That has to be first and foremost, again, as we move forward, police-community relations and how we progress this police department are going to be paramount to the things that we want to do as a city to make things right. We were fortunate on one area. A lot of the reform movements that are being pushed now, Omaha Police already had it. But we have some areas and some growth that we're looking to stack upon, a progressive path for policing that I see Omaha taking an attempt at leading on that front for the country, for other major cities. And of course, we'll steal something from another major city if we think it's working. We had an incident at 60th and Center where I did not care for how we handled that incident.
You're talking about Zachary Bailey.
I am talking about that, thank you. One of the areas that we really implemented after that was a great increase in how we deal with those in a mental crisis. We have crisis intervention officers now at a very high level that can respond to these scenes, but we also have a co-responder, which is that there's a mental health call, not only will a law enforcement officer go, but we have co-responders, mental health professionals that can come with us. And once that scene is deemed safe, can come in and assist on those calls. We have seen a tremendous amount of success with that, and incrementally we have kept adding to that. I see a lot of space to add onto that. I see some space to decrease even our workload as it relates to that down the road. So that's one example that maybe unfortunately we had a head start on getting on, but that's something that area of progressive policing that you're going to see, I think, in Omaha and other major cities, and you're going to see those major cities that have a heavy homeless population and how they interact with that aspect of society. You're going to see some changes in policing on that front too. You might see less of an onus put on police departments to address that, and some more social services interjected into that mix. And quite frankly, Aaron, the society demanded an awful lot of us as it related to mental health and dealing with the homeless population. They asked a ton of Omaha police officers on that front, especially the mental illness. And since then, we have internally made a number of changes, but the broader community of Omaha has stepped up, and the services available on the mental health front are far better, light years better than what we had during that incident. So the trajectory of Omaha on that front really looks bright.
Where do you see the biggest gaps where police do need the help in the social safety net? Where can people, regardless of where the money comes from, whether it's additional money or private money or whatever, where do you see the gaps that officers need help to be able to do their job better?
So it's really in that area of root causes. You have educational gaps, you have poverty gaps, those that have to start behind everybody else because of poverty, the educational gaps. Breakdown in the family is a root cause that often is attributed to criminal behavior. The police department cannot be tasked solely with those three things. It isn't completely our mission. So we need help on those fronts to bring those up. Somebody asked me one time, Chief, would you take 1,000 more officers or 100 more jobs? I said, I would take 100 more jobs, but you let me decide where those jobs go. And I could take a deep penetration with those jobs and you would see a reduction in crime over the course of time. So it's those types of avenues that I would like to see done. And let me manage expectations on that front. You might have to wait 5-10 years before you see the fruits of the labor on that front, but it will come in greatly. You're going to see Omaha be at the head of the class. Okay, the programs that we're going to put to place with mental health, the training of our officers, and our hiring program. Those three facets are going to be very huge. As we progress and make police departments progressive, it's very important to understand that the chief of police is responsible for a lot of various factors. And when we talk about progressing police departments, we can't go so far where I can never hire another officer. We can't go so far where half my staff retires or leaves. We can't go so far where I can't reduce crime. It has to be done within those realms, and it can be. And sometimes during the political climate, we lose that nuance, and I get that. But we'll exit out of the political climate here come Tuesday in Omaha. But during this entire time, the Omaha Police Department, myself, and my senior command staff have a roadmap in place to address those three tenets I just talked about. And those are the three main areas that you're going to see that are paramount to policing moving forward. So I think the glaring thing is we really learned that what happens somewhere else can often carry over here. And we understand that because I'll be honest with you, Aaron, we were affected by what took place as well. I mean, who couldn't be, right? And I felt early on that front that we needed to step out and denounce what took place. And we haven't done that very often. We don't get involved too much in what other cities and other areas are doing because, you know, out of professional courtesy, if you will. But on this one we did because we knew it had an opportunity to affect the world, and it did affect the world, and probably justifiably. So I look at it this way: that learning experience gave us a platform to make improvements. It eliminated some of the roadblocks for chiefs. So a lot of positives came out of this movement. What we took away from it is, you know, the community is our partners. We're part of the community. We want to be guardians for the community. So if our community is telling us they have an experience that needs to be changed, then we need to look at how we go about changing that. And police departments that took this seriously did make a number of changes. Here in Omaha, even though we didn't train to put a knee on somebody's neck, even though we don't have chokeholds, we don't train on it, I decided to just outright ban those. Okay, just in the event the situation would arise. Also along the lines, it gave us an opportunity to initiate a duty to intervene, which means if you see another officer doing something wrong, you have to intervene. We always taught to intervene, now it's in policy. And another area is we're teaching and training officers now when you have somebody under arrest and they're fighting and they're face down and they're in handcuffs. Aaron, it's hard to breathe that way. It really is. And then sit on somebody's back, it's very hard. We're training our officers now. Get them up, sit them up, get them on their side. Don't leave them prone. And that emphasis on that, I think, is going to save lives. Because we would emphasize it, it would be a point of mention, it would be in our policies, but the training of it and instilling in that officer's mind to muscle memory when you're in the heat of a battle, when you're in the heat of stress. Sometimes you lose things, but when you grain that in with training, I really think that's going to save lives in Omaha over the course of decades. And hopefully other departments have adopted that model as well. Our training has gotten extremely more robust as it relates to the dynamics of use of force. And that arrest of ours is in our care. Okay, and we need to take a high level of onus when that's in our care. But also on implicit bias training, cultural competency, how we interact with our community, how we understand what they're feeling. So an example would be when we stop a car, okay, we need to be cognizant if the driver is African American that they're going to be a little more fearful of this encounter than maybe you and I would be. Okay, we'll all have a little trepidation because we don't want to get pulled over, okay? But they're going to have more. So that officer should take a little extra time to put that driver at ease when the situation allows. It's those type of nuances that are really embedded and deeply penetrated into our training in the aftermath of what took place. Obviously, Aaron, there's been a lot of things thrown out. And a lot of times when you have something major occur like we had in our country, Omaha was part of it. The pendulum's going to swing widely on both ends. And you really need to settle on some things in the middle that don't have unintended consequences. I do think oversight of police is something that needs to spread. I do think there's some space for a database for problem officers that can be known to the public. I will tell you, internally, we have those databases and we act on them and we train on them. We intervene on their behalf. So we have those databases. Obviously, everything is a work in progress because how do you craft that? How do you craft that within employment rules and procedures and federal laws and collective bargaining agreements? So those are two areas that I see some space in. You hear a lot about defunding. You know, the reality of it is police departments all across this country have had to take on a lot of extra duties that really shouldn't be ours. And you'd be hard pressed to find a police department anywhere that was overly staffed. Okay, we're pretty appropriately staffed right now. So I always found that to be an argument that could be dived into a little bit more when we advance in society to the point where our crime is reduced to a point where we feel comfortable not having as many police officers. But to intercede and do it in just such a unstudied fashion was a recipe for disaster, and you're seeing that in the cities that did that. You know, I'm pleased to see this be the subject. I'm glad this is getting a lot of spotlight because inevitably when this does occur, you'll see some positive change. And what I would ask for is just realize when we're having these discussions, there are all kinds of sides on the aisle. And we can't go so far one way that crime goes up. We can't go so far one way where all the police officers leave. We still need to hire police officers. We still need to have a solid force. But what we need is a police department that works with the community, has strong police-community relations, and delivers professional policing services because that's what the citizens want, that's what they deserve, and it definitely has to be in an unbiased fashion. If that can be done, and everything occurring across the country and locally here helps push us into that shell, which I think it is, you're going to see a lot of improvement 5, 10, 20 years down the road. Aaron, in 2010, I believe we had 11 officer-involved shootings. I think we've had one the last couple years. Haven't had any so far this year. All that's going to be forgotten the next time we have one, okay? So we have to manage expectations as well. We have to look at the aggregate and say, are we edging in the right direction? Because if we never look at the aggregate, we'll never get there. We have to look at the aggregate data and say, is this police department moving in the right place? Because there's going to be officer-involved incidences that occur in Omaha. There's 500,000 people. That's going to occur across this country. What I would like to see, Aaron, is a barometer of success, a measure that's reasonable with its expectations. And I believe the measure should be aggregately, are the major cities reducing the number of officer-involved deadly encounters? Let's look at that measure. If it's going down, we're moving in the right direction. So you asked me, what are you not thinking of? That's my answer, is have a barometer of success, and let's not let that barometer of success go by the wayside on a singular incident, whether it's here or in another city.